Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. This is your host, Iggy, and the time machine is broken, so we're going to stay in the Middle Ages just a wee bit longer. And I need your help. As you know, Iggy took everything out of the packages, well, almost everything, and threw it into tubs and mixed it up with other stuff and stored it for 20 years and can't remember anything. So here's the question. Who are these guys? Now I'm going to give you some close-ups so that you can more easily identify. Well, I don't know if it's easily identified. I've been looking it up online and haven't found anything yet. These here, I was able to identify these two writers, and this fellow over here to my left, and this fellow over here to my right, and then also this group on this shelf. Wait, where is it? Down here. Now, all of these figures are Accurate. And Accurate is a British company that was formed in the mid-'80s. And the figures are pretty cool. I like the mounted figures they came up with. Of course, it's got the old bent. Gee, I wonder if the fair maiden said, "Sir Knight, I can't love thee. You have a bent lance." My voice is a little weird today. Well, it's always weird, isn't it? But my blood sugar, I tested it after I ate lunch. I went to, where did we go? Cracker Barrel. And I ate everything. What a pig I was. I didn't even leave a drop of gravy or a crumb on the table. I loved it so much I ate it all up. However, I came home, I got, God, I feel really sleepy. So I tested myself. It was so high. It was either my meter was just really being friendly, or it was so high the meter wouldn't read it because all it said was high. And I'm like, well, that's being friendly, but not so much, because if it says high, I think that means it's over 500 or 550, something like that. So I took 30 units of insulin, which is like quite a bit, and it's only gone down to 466. Also, I slept for like 3 hours or so. I probably should have gone to the hospital, but that's too expensive. I can't afford that. And if you go to the hospital, they keep you for a week. Every time I go to the hospital, it's at least 7 or 8 days. Now, the bill for the last time I went to the hospital was $37,000 or $38,000. And the insurance only covered $36,000. So that's why I can't afford it. So I did some research on this figure here. I want to give you some good close-ups because that's what you come for. And this figure over here. And it was the horses that helped me identify who made these figures. So let's come down here and we'll take a look at these. Let's turn the flashlight on. There we go. And I thought these were pretty good. And of course, something that really irritates Iggy, well, not irritates me, but I don't like it, is there's no identification marks on the bottom. See that? There's nothing. And the horses didn't have anything either. These are pretty neat figures, though. And these are accurate. The next group I didn't have so much trouble identifying. For some reason, I knew who they were. I'm not sure why I remembered it, but I looked at it and said, oh, I know who that is. It took me a little bit of research to find out. I never remember. You might be wondering, well, why does the guy have a dagger in his hand? Well, one of the things they would do is usually peasants, not peasants, but the yeomen. Is that what they call them? Villains, yeomen, whoever they were. They would knock a knight off his horse, and while he was on the ground struggling to get up, they would lift up his arm and casually insert a dagger into his armpit, thereby puncturing his heart. But the armpit was unprotected, so that was a good place for them to stick the dagger. I don't know if that's why they put a dagger in his hand, but that's what they would have used it for. I suppose another place you could kill the guy is if you got him in the crotch. But I don't know, most guys I think would go, oh, no, yeah, don't do that. Not there, anywhere but there. Ooh. We're lucky to live when we do, guys. When you see what life is like during the Middle Ages, it's just these endless wars, and we don't have any of that now. Afghanistan. So I'm glad I live now. And can you imagine going to the dentist? They probably would just take a hefty club and smash the tooth out of your mouth. Use a pair of tongs and rip the tooth right out of your mouth. That had to have been hideous. Now, the next group we're going to look at, I didn't have any trouble identifying, and that was Airfix. And these Airfix figures are really good. I think you guys will like them. Some of you guys might have had them when you were kids. But what I liked about it is it comes with a lot of Archer. There's 6 of them. And how many figures did it come total? Or did I buy 2 boxes? That's a possibility. The thing I don't understand is why they included so many of these guys holding up boulders. Now, I know that people may have been stronger back then, but look at the size of that boulder. You're going to have a headache if you drop that, buddy. But I guess Airfix was assuming that all of you guys had a castle. Tempo had figures that holding the boulder like that. So this guy's an official boulder holder. This open-faced helm would be typical of Italian. I think they called it a bassinet, but a bassinet can also have a faceplate that you can lower and into place, and then when danger had receded, you just, like my hairline, you just put the thing up over your head and you can breathe again, unless you have sinuses like Iggy's, and then in which case you don't breathe very well and you wish that someone would have stabbed you in the armpit, but not the groin. Please don't go there. I was bitten by a brown recluse in the groin, and my goodness. The treatment was just as bad as when I got bitten. I remember I was sitting on this table with my legs wide open in front of this doctor I've never seen before, and 2 nurses that one of which was pretty attractive. Never seen him before, and I'm, of course, naked, and well, at least I don't have my pants and underwear on. And the guy lances this boil where the spider had bitten me, and it squirted all up in their faces. And I was shocked. That's why I didn't laugh. If I was in a better mood, I probably would have laughed. But you don't want to laugh when you got your pants down in front of strangers. They had to. The reason they had to lance it is they had to operate. They took these what looked like tongs or something and started removing calcified. This is a gruesome story, but it's the Middle Ages, guys. The Middle Ages is very gruesome. The way I got through it is I pretended I was a Civil War soldier who was going through amputation. Now those guys had it bad. No anesthesia and unsanitary conditions. A lot of them dying. Most of them dying from infection. And anyway, they dug these pellets of calcified flesh from where the spider injected its venom, and it would hit this metal pan that the nurse was holding and roll around. It sounded like they were pulling out bullet fragments. But the worst part is when they packed it with gauze. That hurt pretty bad because it was a long gauze. And then what hurt the most is when I went there, so okay, it's time to take the gauze packing out. He just calmly grabs the tip of it and rips it out like a parachute ripcord all in one threat. Now, I guess it's probably best that he took it up, but I had no warning or anything. I actually yelled. It hurt so bad. So someone said, "Do you like to go camping?" No, not really. Okay, let me show you these figures without the narrative because Iggy gets carried away in his stories, and a lot of them are probably, something you don't want to hear and also inappropriate. Who, me? Inappropriate? These guys are awesome, though. For those of you who have can you imagine the muscle strength required? Now, Robert the Bruce is famous for uh, riding down an opponent and then standing up in the stirrups, and with the axe, he cut the guy from the crown of his head all the way to his groin with one axe swing. Can you imagine the strength required to do such a thing? And I don't know about you, but I think I would probably throw up if I saw that. This one here's a cool one too. This is the chain and ball. I guess it's like a mace. Now my brother bought a fake one while he was in Spain, and I picked it up and swung it. It hit the wall, and it was lath and plaster, the house, and it left a big hole. I was like, oh my God. I covered it up with a picture. To this day, I wonder if anyone found that. And, several years later, someone asks you about it, you can tell a fib more easily because it's been so long you forgot about it yourself. I did a lot of stupid things when I was a kid. Like, I used to, when mom and dad would leave to go look at houses because we needed to move, and I would put matches in the toaster, and I would get a big kick out of when the fire erupted. But at one time I got scared because it started burning the kitchen cabinet, and I was panicky. I threw the toaster into the sink. But my brother and I, we used to put he would build model ships, and we would set them on fire in the bathtub. And we got punished pretty badly for that one. We did it in the pool too. Not the brightest bulb. These Airfix figures are well done, well done. These also didn't have any markings though. I looked them up and did close-ups of the image that I found, and they matched these just as I did with the accurate figures. Okay, but now I need your help, guys. Can I depend on you to give me an answer on this? They're pretty cool figures, but I don't know who made them. I don't even remember buying them. I gotta show you one. Here it is. He's really cool. This guy here. Let's take him out. He's a crossbowman. Look at that. Very cool. Who made him? Beats my buns. But it's a nice group of men-at-arms. They have some archers here. You can see where John Brody got the idea for his helmet. But I don't know who made these or where they came from. But I'm pretty sure there's someone out there. Well, I'm not pretty sure, but I mean, there's a good chance that one of you bought these too and didn't throw the package out, or have a much better memory than I do, which is more than possible. I've been forgetting a lot of stuff. Some things I've forgotten. It's probably best that I let it go. Okay, so let's take a look at what. Oh, you know what? I should show you this. This will be fun. I don't know who made this either. It's possible that it's Britain's, because I did buy a set. Here's another one here. I think this came with it. Is it? How do you load it? You know what amazed me is the rubber band still works. You know how rubber bands get old, they get hard, and it looks like they've been burned. They're all shriveled up and hard. This rubber band appears to be fine, which really shocked me because it's been in storage for how long? 33 years or something like that. So let's see if it still works. I have it. What do they call this? A ballista? It's been a while since I read a book about medieval artillery. So it's got this switch here. Let's see what it does. Oh, we got him. Although you can see he's still standing after being shot with this bolt. So let's try it again. The way you load it is you push it in here. Hard to do one-handed. Okay. Give you a view of it from all angles. This is a fun thing to do. You set up your figures and attack your fortress. So let's attack the fort. See what happens. So I'll elevate this somewhat. No, it doesn't appear to have enough power to knock over any of the figures. That's a nice thing to have. You know what? My mouth is so dry, my lips are sticking to my teeth. It's getting harder to talk. Like I mentioned, my blood sugar was 466. I've had it much worse than that. Like today, when it was so high, it would only say, "Hi, hi, Iggy. This is your blood sugar. We're trying to kill you, but you're pretty stubborn, so you don't seem to want to die." No, not today. Although I noticed lately when I drive by cemeteries, I hear voices going, "Hey, Iggy, come on in. It's great. You'll love it." And I'm like, "Oh, no, thanks, guys. I'll pass on that." So let's review it again since this is Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. Up here is the accurate figures, which came with 2 mounted figures, which are pretty cool. I mentioned in the last video I don't know where this castle facade came from. I was wondering if you might be able to use this with your Roman troops. The tree, of course, you all recognize. It's Mark's tree. That is actually an authentic Mark's tree. I've got like 40 or 50. For a while, I was on this kick that I would buy a lot of Mark's trees. I did have some repro Marks. God, I gotta get something to drink. Um, I I did have a lot of Mark's trees. Uh, what am I saying? Back up. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. I chop down trees and something or other and wear a brassiere just like dear mama. It's funny how that song might be more appropriate today. Although I heard that Monty Python has been banned, which is almost a joke in itself. I don't like banning. I think we should have free speech. And this concept of hate speech is a violation of free speech. Who decides what's hate speech? You leave that solely to the government or to a certain group of people that you may not like, and they decide that what you say is hate speech? If you want to say, well, any speech that hurts someone's feelings is hate speech, that could be virtually everyone. If someone came up to me and possibly to you too, and said, "Oh, I found a bunch of vintage Britain's detail figures, and I burned them and enjoyed watching them melt," I would consider that hate speech. But you see what I mean? Just virtually anything could be considered hate speech by anyone. So it's a silly, silly notion. And if you can't take someone calling you, and listen, when I was a kid, I was teased constantly. And not only teased, but had acts of violence committed against me. But it just makes you a stronger person. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. Eventually, the things they said didn't make me cry anymore. And I would throw things back. God, my tongue is so dry, I can barely talk. So I better wrap this up because I'm not joking. My tongue is so dry, I can barely speak. That might be because of my high blood sugar. Hopefully not for some other serious reason. Last time I ended up in the hospital, my brother asked me a question and I started talking like this. So I hope it's not, I hope that's not happening to me here. Live on Iggy Television. Iggy talks so much he kills himself. That's hate speech for you. Okay, so I'll just try and wrap it up for you real quickly, and then I'm going to get a can of Sprite or something. These are the ones I told you I didn't know who they were. They're pretty cool figures. They're not Airfix. They're not accurate. So I was thinking, I'll give you some guesses that this is Italeri or Revell. I tried looking those up. I couldn't find. Sorry, I got the hiccups now. Isn't that a sign of having a heart attack? I don't know. Oh, I think I'm just being paranoid. Um, I couldn't find anything that matched these. So are these an unknown company? Where did I get them, for God's sake? I don't remember. It's been too long. Isn't it funny how certain things you remember, and you remember the circumstances of when you bought it, and where you bought it, and what you were doing, and who you knew or who you were with? What is this called? A halberd? Halberd, something like that. They used to use it to unhorse uh, cavalrymen. It had like a hook to it, and they would just hook it on the rider and pull them right down. Why am I laughing at that? That's not even funny. There's not much humor in the Middle Ages, although Monty Python and the Holy Grail, they managed to find stuff. And then, of course, this is the accurate figures. And these are well done, too. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you. Oh, wait, I have some artillery. I don't know who made these back here. They came with these little gray meatballs. But these here, I think, are Britain's, but I'm not positive. I bought a siege tower from Britain's. I also have their castle. It's vacuum formed plastic, like a styrene plastic, vacuum formed. I didn't care for it too much, but at the time, anything Britain's and I would have bought it. I still have it somewhere. We just haven't seen it yet. Okay, guys, thank you. I'm sorry about my affected speech, but I'm really dried out for some reason. Uh, so I'll sign off because this is sort of awkward. And I want to thank you for coming back. I want to thank you for joining the Iggy Army, those of you who have done it. If you haven't, why not join the Iggy Army? Especially if you're a doctor. We need some advice here. Anyway, why don't I just say goodbye?